Let me first start by welcoming everyone to my algebra tutorial today. My name is Mr. Marquise, and you may have gotten a notification. Mr. Marquise Tutors Me is on right now. I definitely appreciate you guys for showing up. I'm just relaxing right now, kind of getting my mind ready for what I'm about to deliver. And it's very important that you kind of calm yourself down and get yourself ready to actually embrace everything about to be taught and to actually absorb everything that I'm getting ready to give you in this algebra tutorial. Now, I may not be able to give you all the algebra, like everything you need to know about algebra in this one tutorial, but I will try to cover as much as I possibly can. If we get to a point where you need maybe a little more description or some more tutorial on just one specific thing, whether it be expressions or variables or coefficients or anything like that deals with algebra itself, you can definitely hit me up at Mr. Marquise Tutors Me at gmail.com. Or you can go to Mr. Marquise Tutors Me at protonmail.com. And without further ado, I definitely want to go ahead and get right to it. I definitely appreciate you for showing up again. You want to let as many people as you know that there is an algebra tutorial up. You can have them go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to I'll probably be on Patreon soon. But this first algebra tutorial is definitely going up on Facebook now. Basically, thank you for coming. Get as many people in here as you can, and I'll try to do the same. I have a few people that actually need this algebra tutorial. I have about 3 or 4 more presentations that I'm going to be uploading very soon, but this algebra one was one that was needed first. I've been getting more calls, more emails, more people commenting on algebra tutoring. So without further ado, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, go ahead and comment, hit the notification bell if there is one on this particular platform. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All I ask is that you bring 100% of you to the table. If you know you don't know something, don't come in here trying to act like you already know it. Don't come in here acting like you just don't know anything. You gotta come and give me all that you have. The first thing I'll need you to do is grab you a pencil, some paper, and go and look up the Algebra Glossary. Now, some teachers actually hand out the glossary of some algebraic terms that you may hear, and some teachers just give you a website. Like I give you a website, and it is www.enchantedlearning.com/math/algebra/terms. Algebra terms. You're looking at enchantedlearning.com, and you just want to go through their glossary. I pulled up that particular glossary, and the first word I started with wasn't the very first word, it was the last word, and that word is variable. Algebra introduces you to letters. Algebra introduces letters into mathematics, and that's all it means. Variable is a letter representing a number needed to solve the problem, or it represents an item. Let's say horses. 3 horses is 3x. 5 cows would be 5y. I have 3x plus 5y. Or subtract a horse from a cow, so we keep them separate. They are 2 separate terms. But a x is a variable, a y is a variable. I just happen to name those variables horses, cows. But if you just go through that glossary, you'll pick up a lot of words that you may hear today in this particular tutorial. Some of those words may include not only variable but absolute value. You need to know what algebra itself means. Algebra is the study of generalized arithmetic. Yes, it introduces you to the letters. It introduces letters to mathematics, but algebra is much more than just letters being added. You got to learn about coefficients, degrees of a polynomial, an equation, exponent, expression. You have to know how to factor in algebra. You want to know what a formula is and which formula to use at all times. You definitely need to know what a fraction is, and a fraction is something that you learned very early in school, right along with your adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing. That division, a fraction, is a form of division. You know what I'm saying? You learn about inequalities. You should already know what an integer is. Inverse addition, inverse multiplication, the nth power. You need to know what a power is, how something is raised to a certain power. You need to know what an operation is, a polynomial, a prime number, a quadratic equation, a quadratic formula. You need to know what a radical is. That is the symbol used for square root. The square root symbol is a radical. You need to know what a root is. Solve just means find the solution for. You need to know what a square root is. You need to know symbols. A symbol is a mark or a sign that stands for something else. Like a division sign means divide, but you wouldn't write 3 divided by, you would write 3 and the division symbol, right? Divided by 1. Okay, so you need to know what a system of equations is. You need to know what terms are. A term could be 3x. 3x plus 4x squared is 2 different terms. 3x is one term. 4x squared is 1 term. And yes, that's pretty much the glossary, what you need to learn that. And don't let me forget all these questions that I'll be asking later on in this special presentation for algebra tutorial. All these questions can be found at test.com/practice/algebra practice test. This is from test.com/practice/algebra practice test. You can find all of these questions. Now, before we get into that, we gotta kind of do a refresher. Do you remember anything from your last math class? Do you remember anything about your grades from last year? Okay, in this particular slide, you see a 90%, you see 9/10, and you see 9/10, right? So those are basically the same exact number. Let's say your grade was a 90. You made a 90% last year in your class, whatever math class that was. That means if there were only 10 questions, you got 9 out of 10 of them right. That is 90%. 90% can be written as 9/10. It can be written as 90 over 100, which that is what percent means out of 100. 90 over 100, 90 out of 100 is the same as 90%, is the same as 9/10. It can be written as 0.9. It can be written as 0.90. It can be written as 0.90. It can be written as 90 over 100, it can be written as 900 over 1,000. Okay. Let's say your teacher broke down your grades in these four little parts. 50% was your final grade, and you had a total of 500 points possible. 5 tests, one test, 500 points, and that's worth 50% of your grade. Now, you had 30% of your grade came from 3 exams that you may have had throughout the semester. 10% would be like class participation and class work. Another 10% could come from homework, pop quizzes, that type of stuff. So let's say 10% was 100 points total, but you may have taken about 10 different tests, and you ended up getting 90 points out of 100 for that. With the classwork and participation, you may have only gotten 85, and that was only worth 10%. Now, with these tests down here, they're worth 30%. So she gave you 3 tests, and you may have gotten, let's say you got an 80, and a 90. That's 250 points out of 300 possible points. And let's say your final exam was worth 50% of the grade, but you could only get 100 points from it. And all I did was say, okay, let's say you didn't get, let's say you got a 95. You got a 95 out of 100. The teacher took that 100 and said, okay, I'm going to count this 5 times because this is a total of 500 points that's possible. So you didn't get 5 out of 100, so that's 25 out of 500. So we'll take 25 points off the 500. You have 475. You got 475 points from the final. So that really helped, and that jumped you up to 900 points total out of the 1,000 possible, leaving you with the 90 percentile. And that's just a breakdown of how algebra is used, even when you don't even know it. Like you can be anywhere all day, every day. You'll see the numbers, you'll see signs, you'll see symbols, and you'll start to relate algebra to everything around you. Everything and everybody is connected in a mathematical way and scientifically, but math and science are in everything. But I was just trying to show you how your grades may have been accumulated. Like the teacher didn't have to have it 10, 10, 30, 50. It could have had a 20, 20, 20, and the last just be 40. You know what I mean? Either way, they had some kind of point system, and this is how you received your final grade for the semester. This may be how you receive your final grade for this semester. So know that, hey, your final test could be worth 50% of your final grade. So yes, be prepared. Take your time. Calm down. Breathe. And this is, another problem that you have to solve. Find the solution, basically. 3x plus 7 minus 2 equals 8. Combining like terms, which means anything with a variable stays on the left side. All other numbers move to the right. So eventually it'll say something like x equals whatever it equals. But for right now, we're going to look at it and say, okay, it says minus 2 will add 2 to both sides. It says plus 7 will subtract 7 from both sides to leave us with the 3x. So we have 3x equals 8 minus 7 plus 2. 3x equals 3, x equals 1. But this is something that you would actually want to write down. Write it down exactly how I say it. 3x plus 7 minus 2 equals 8. You're trying to get x by itself. When you're solving for x, you need a solution for x. So in order for us to get x by itself, we have to use the inverse to move whatever number is with the x to the other side. Inverse addition would be the subtraction. So we have a plus 7. We'll subtract 7 to both sides. And that 7 moves over there, but it's a minus 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. We have a plus 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So we still have the 3x on the other side, right? So 3x equals 3. And yes, I have x equals 1. 3x equals 3. You divide that 3 both sides, and it gives you 1. And then all you do is just go back and plug your answer in to the original problem where it says 3x plus 7 minus 2 equals 8. You make sure that 1 says 3 times 1 plus 7 plus 2. Make sure it says 8 equals 8. So all I did was say 3 plus 7 is 10 minus 2 is that 8. So I have 8 equals 8. A 1 is the correct answer. I hope y'all are able to follow me and keep up. I know we're almost an hour in and we've been going, and we may have another hour before I'm done, but I definitely appreciate you holding on to these little nuggets that I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to teach you how to, take tests a little better, make these tests a little easier. When you see these multiple choice, make sure you can eliminate a couple of the answers. Give yourself a 50% chance of actually getting it correct instead of a 25% chance. That's just my take on it. Now, with that said, let me go ahead and try to move along a little bit faster. So we'll go ahead into the next question, which says Irene is in years old. If Tom is twice as old, which of the following algebraic statements shows his age now? All right, so basically what we're looking for is the algebraic statement, and so that means that there is no equal sign. Like this is just going to be an expression real quick, maybe even one term at that. And I would say one term because it says twice, right? So what is twice? If I say twice something, that is usually saying times 2, right? 2 times. Twice as much is times 2. So if she's in years old, he has to be 2 in, right? Like, I don't care if she's 30. He's 2 times her age. He's twice her age. He's 60. If she's 10, he's 20. So Tom is twice as old. So would that be 2n, 2 divided by n, 2 plus n, 2 minus n minus 2, n plus 2? Yeah, I'm trying to confuse you, but it's like I'm not here to just give you the answer. I'm trying to show you exactly why these answers are correct. And without confusing you too much, I will go ahead and show you these multiple choice answers. Yes, you see that 2n is the correct answer, but you see how they can try to confuse you or persuade you in making these multiple choice choices. making these choices. It's like, okay, you go back and you read the question again. Irene is N years old. If Tom is twice as old, like if he's twice as old, we don't need anything more than 2N. Like, it's not a minus in there because it doesn't say the difference. So C and D wouldn't be the answer. It would only come down to A and B, and there was no adding of any variable. So there's no need for a plus X right there, right? So you can kind of eliminate those without wrecking your brain. You can get it down to, okay, 2 minus N is definitely wrong. N minus 2 is wrong for sure. It's going to come down to 2N or 2N plus X. And we don't see a plus anywhere. So 2N is correct. Now, the next question may not be that simple, but we appreciate that one being simple, right? Well, these slides or this presentation or this particular practice test may be easy, but I will say that it kind of sharpens your mind, and it keeps you on point. These word problems, this is what people have the most trouble with, is word problems. So if you can just, take the little words, only pay attention to what's important, you'll be able to eliminate a couple of the multiple choice answers, or you'll be able to get right to it. You'll be able to go in and just say, hey, man, subtract D. The answer is this. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get right into the next question. It says, John has B bats. So he already had B bats. So we got a B already. He buys C bats more. So more means plus, right? You're adding them. And then he gives away D bats. Which of the following algebraic statements correctly shows how many bats John has left, right? Right? So we don't have any numbers. No numbers up there. It's just asking, hey, man, if I got this much of this, and then I get this many more, and I give away this many, how many will I have left? Okay, and if I have B bats and I bought C and then I gave away D, that means it's going to be a B plus a C minus D. And you just want to go to your answers and make sure you see a B plus a C minus a D. Now, you can put those in any order. You could have said C plus B minus D. You could have said B minus D plus C. If the numbers are correct, it will still come out to be the same. It will still come out to be the same. As long as you say a positive B, positive C, a negative D, because the D's are being taken away, the answer would still be the same. It would still be right. And in this case, these multiple choice answers, C would be correct. B plus C minus D. On to the next slide. It says, what is the representation algebraically of the cost of L feet of lumber at Y dollars per foot? Now, I'm always doing the math on feet and dollars per foot, or square feet, and how many square feet I need to buy. So it's like this one I can really relate to, but you're gonna have to find something that you can relate everything math to, whether it be money or painting, or you got to be able to relate this to something. Drawing, like you see my chalkboard right there, and it's like there are drawings all over it. I'm trying to relate all of this, everything I ever do, I try to relate it to something in my real life. So, some problems can be relative to real life. You go in and you just plug any number, like like what I did, I plugged in 20, I plugged in 5. Like if I need 20 feet of lumber that costs $5 per foot, how much will I spend? 20 feet of lumber, $5 per foot. $5 per foot, I spent $100, right? So, yeah, with that said, it's like, hey, B is your answer. L times Y, because it's going to be the feet times the money that is going to give me the feet per money. You know, it's going to give me the dollars per feet is what I should say. If I am multiplying the feet times the money, that'll give me how much money is needed per foot. Yes, so I told myself, hey man, I need 20 feet. And it's $5 per foot. So I'll be spending $100. But that's just me plugging my numbers in just to make sure I get the right formula or the right representation. And then, you know, it's easy to multiply after that. Once you figure out that it's L times Y and you just plug your numbers and go, it's like, okay, I'm figuring this thing out. And that's just all you want to do. You just want to take your time and say, okay, what is this question asking me? Okay, yeah, here we go. Now we want to find the value of 3ABC. 3ABC. So to remember now, when you see a variable right next to a number, right next to other variables, that just means multiply. It doesn't mean just plug in where it says A is 2, B is 3, C is 4. That doesn't mean that your answer is going to be 3, 2, 3, 4, like 3,234 or 3,234. No, that means multiply 3 times A times B times C. You get it? So we're going to find the value of that. And if you did your multiplication, you would know that the answer is 3 times 2 is 6 times 3 is 18 times 4. Right? I'll try to make sure I give you guys a little more time to actually, you know, write down this stuff. Write down 3 times 2 times 3 times 4. And write down, you know, your multiplications. Writing down your expressions. Writing down you actually solving the problem step by step. That way, as you're writing, you're learning because you're basically training your brain to see what you're writing. So you're saying what you're writing. And once you start saying what you write, you start remembering a lot more. I just need you to just soak it up to the point where you actually don't mind writing it out because you know how important writing is to the learning process. So we started out with 3ABC and they were like, hey man, find the value. And if it was not multiple choice, some people probably would have just plugged in the 2 for the A, the 3 for the B, the 4 for the C, and said 3,234. And then you get to this multiple choice and you don't see that answer on there. And you're like, oh man, what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to be multiplying. And it doesn't matter what order you multiply in. You go from back to the front, it'll still be 72. Front to back, 72. You take the 2 in the middle and the 2 on the outside, it's still 72. That order of operations does not matter. When it comes to all multiplications or all math, all adding, then hey, it's literally exactly the same. It's a little different when you start talking subtraction, division, you know, exponents. Parentheses changes a lot of things like that. That's why that order of operations is so important. But nonetheless, 72 should be your answer. Okay, this is one of those ones that I may have to give you a little more time on. So what I'll do is we'll go ahead and read it the sum of a certain number and 3 times the number is 40. What is the number? Okay, so the number is x. The number is x. So what is x? Okay, the sum of a certain number, which is x, and 3 times that number, which is 3x, is 40. What is the number? So the sum means we're adding, right? So the sum of x and 3x. So that is x plus 3x is, which is an equal sign, 40. X plus 3x equals 40. X plus 3x equals 40. You see how I got that? The sum of a certain number. That certain number can be anything, any variable. So any variable. I could say that it is a. So I have a plus 3a is 40. Same thing. The certain number, the variable, can be any letter you want, but you have to consistently have that same letter throughout that particular expression or that particular problem. Like I can do X's on this problem, Y's on the next problem, A, B, C on the problem after that, X, Y, Z after that. But on this particular problem, we're just going to go with the X. Now, to tell the truth, some people may not be able to get to it that fast. Some people may not be able to see x plus 3x equals 40 in the word problem itself. But for those of you that do, you know what I'm saying, and you can't really figure out where to go from there, you can look at your choices within the multiple choice, right? We got A, B, C, D. You can look at those choices and just go ahead and plug a number in. Say, okay, once you say x plus 3x equals 40 or 4x equals 40, now you can either plug those numbers in and say, okay, 4 times 8, 4x. If x is 8, 4 times 8 is 32, 4 times 9 is 36, 4 times 10 is that 40. So which one says I am 40? 10. C equals 10. C is 10. 40 equals 40. 4x equals 40. So x has to be 10. And again, I got that just by saying, okay, the sum of a certain number and 3 times the number. Okay, the sum means add a number and 3 times that number. So add x and 3x. That'll give you 4x on that side. And well, that sum equals 40. Equals is 40. Is 40 means that it equals 40. Yes, so if I can't go in and plug these numbers in and figure out which one of these equals 40, and we see that 10 will go in there into 40 4 times. So yes, 4x equals 40, x equals 10.